Hi everyone, welcome to our Super Bowl 55 preview video. My name is Matthew Lee Rooney,
My name is Benedict Rhodes.
and as we've been doing on this channel, this is our third straight Super Bowl preview. Of course, we started with the with 53 2 years ago, um, and this Super Bowl is pretty probably one of the more anticipating Super Bowls. Would you agree to that, Ben?
Yeah, I'd say so. Certainly the ones I've looked forward the most to in my time watching Super Bowl. So, yeah, definitely for Sunday. How about you?
Definitely, yeah. I mean, there's definitely a lot of storylines for this upcoming Super Bowl. I mean, obviously the biggest one is Brady against Mahomes, and they've played already. I think it's been like four times total, including regular season and postseason. So, uh, I mean, this matchup's obviously the biggest one out of the first couple they've played against each other. Um, and of course, Mahomes is going for his second Super Bowl ring in his already early young career, while Tom Brady is, I think, going for seventh, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, you said it's the best of all time versus probably the best young quarterback, if not the best quarterback in the game at the moment. So, yeah, it's definitely going to be an exciting matchup. I think. As we'll get to a bit later, we'll talk about Tom Brady. I think, but um, yeah, that's definitely an amazing quarterback matchup and probably the best possible matchup here for the NFL. I think too, having the GOAT against one of the most marketable players.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, even just to think, looking into last year's offseason, of course, when Brady went to Tampa Bay, um, obviously the expectation was that they were going to have a successful year, and clearly that's been the case so far because he's taken them to the Super Bowl for in his first season with Tampa Bay. And of course, even on the other side of the ball, Chiefs are looking to repeat as Super Bowl champs, of course. Um, and they're looking to become the first team since the Pats in Super Bowl 38 and 39 to repeat as champs. Definitely that can be a possibility at this point. Obviously, it's a 50-50 choice at this point. But yeah, that's definitely a feasible outcome.
And when Tom Brady joined the Bucks before the season, you knew that they're going to be a better team. You knew Tom Brady had the ability to pull in very good players, the free agents, and the ability to almost be like a GM almost and kind of convince people to join the Bucks. But I don't think any of us would have necessarily thought he would have brought them to the Super Bowl in the NFC. So um, I think that this could sort of seal his status as one of the best to ever do it, if he's not already the best to ever do it. Um, and see what he done with that team. Turn them around from a very bad team to a very good team in not very long is quite an impressive achievement.
Yeah, especially with of course all the players he sort of convinced to come to Tampa Bay in the offseason. Of course, his Super Bowl buddy Rob Gronkowski came to Tampa Bay, and also added Antonio Brown. And of course, they already had a plethora of offensive weapons with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, a player we'll get to soon. But I mean, other than the roster, I mean, Tampa Bay just in general is the first team to actually host the Super Bowl after the Super Bowl's 55-year existence. What do you think about this, and how do you think this will do you think the home advantage will fare out for or will go well for Tampa Bay?
I think I said this in the last video we made. Like to me, the fact that the Bucks will be the first team to host the Super Bowl in their own in the year where they're playing to me is just a wild thing to me. I can't believe that's never happened before, but I think it's kind of double sided. I think it's good in a way where they've played all year without fans, and now they're gonna have the biggest crowd of the year. So I think that could be a benefit to them. But also at the same time, there's also a lot of pressure that comes with that playing the Super Bowl at home. Um, so it'll be interesting to see how they deal with that. I think it could be a good thing, and it can also be a bad thing. Well, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I think it will. I think it would help them out a little bit. I mean, obviously, as you said, there's definitely immense pressure on the team, especially as I said, that being the only team in Super Bowl history to host the Super Bowl, and obviously I think that brings some expectations for them to play well in their home stadium. I mean, they know all the facilities, they know everything about their home stadium, so that can potentially be an advantage to them. I mean, also even like some props like the cannon they have in their stadium, where I don't know if it's every touchdown they like use that, but like just little things like that is like stuff they're used to, and I think that will probably it's obviously going to be an advantage for them.
Yeah, especially in a year or years, I guess now with like hardly any consistency and a lot of changing things in the world. I think it's probably good for them to have a bit of consistency and a bit of familiarity, I guess.
Yeah, and actually, these two teams matched up. The last Tampa, actually, I should say, the last Tampa Bay Bucks loss was in Week 12 against Kansas City. Um, and obviously, going into that game, a lot of people thought this would be a Super Bowl preview, and here we are, a couple months later, and these two are matching up. Um, and actually, in that game, I think Kansas City, if I'm not wrong, went up. I think it was like 17-0, some big score like that. Tampa Bay cut it close just to only lose by 3 points. So I mean, if you look at that game, do you think there will be any sort of similarities to what Kansas City did to Tampa Bay, or how that game fared out?
Apart from the Bucks, I'm hoping there isn't. You mentioned the 17 nothing advantage they had coming out of the gate there. Um, I think that if that happens again, the Super Bowl is going to be it's going to end the same way. I think, but um, if the Bucks can keep Patrick Mahomes under control, as we'll get to a little bit later, um, I think they can definitely turn that result around and not give up 17 points to start the game. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, this is obviously. I think Tampa Bay was probably still trying to click in at this point. And I mean, I know it was 2 months ago, but I think reason for Tampa Bay's for their five losses this year was, I mean, obviously they were to some contenders in the playoffs, um, and obviously they've improved since that Week 12 loss against Kansas City. But I mean, as you said, I think if Kansas City goes up 17-0 again, I think this will be. I think it will just be a closer. Like, I mean, I wouldn't see Tampa Bay coming back in any shape or form. But I mean, obviously anything can happen. But yeah, I wouldn't see Tampa Bay coming back if Kansas City scored 17 points in the first quarter.
And as we've been talking about all season, I guess is never bet against Tom Brady, right? Like, he'll be using that as motivation, as he did against the Saints after losing twice to them and then beating them. Um, so yeah, never bet against Tom Brady, of course, and um, also the Chiefs, of course. You kind of touched on this already, but they're looking to repeat as champions, but becoming the first team since the Patriots in Super Bowl 38 and 39 to repeat as champions. Teams which were quarterbacked by Tom Brady, of course. So, how do you think that plays into this sort of narrative, I guess?
Yeah, funny enough that he has to face off against a team that trying to match the record like his Pats. But yeah, I think that's definitely an interesting storyline just to think about. How Mahomes is trying to do the same thing that Brady did with his team like 15, 16 years ago. So definitely an interesting thing to think about, and definitely like something to look out for.
And speaking of things to look out for, I guess we're each going to pick two players from each team to look out for, or one each, I guess, but from each team. Do you want us to get us started? Who do you think is the most important player for the visiting Kansas City Chiefs?
Yeah, so for me, I'm gonna. I mean, obviously, the obvious choice would be to go for the quarterbacks, but in this situation, I'm gonna say Tyreek Hill, wide receiver for KC. Um, Obviously, he's been having another great year for the Chiefs, and in this postseason so far, he's had 282 receiving yards. Obviously, a big weapon to look out for in this game for Kansas City, and obviously helping out. Um, being a big help for Mahomes, and I expect him to have another big game like he's and play well like he's had all season.
Yeah, for Kansas City, I'm going to go for another offensive weapon. I'm also not going to pick any quarterbacks for this. I've gone for Travis Kelsey. He's arguably already the best tight end in the league, but I think stepped it up even more this year. Set personal records for yards and touchdowns, so I think he'll play a huge part on Sunday. He's a monster, that guy, physically, and just the mental thoughts of playing against someone like that must be pretty scary for any team. He was pretty important last year's run as well, of course, so I think we're expecting a big performance again from him this year.
Yeah, and it's going to be fun too watching him against Rob Gronkowski, two tight ends who are very great, very good at football to say the least. But yeah, that'll be an exciting matchup to look out for and see who plays better than the other. And I guess now moving on to the Tampa Bay side, who would you who's someone you would look sorry who's someone you would look out for in Tampa Bay?
For Tampa Bay, I'm going to go defensively. I'm going to go for Jason Pierre-Paul. I think for Tampa Bay, defense is going to be just as important as offense this year, and Jason Pierre-Paul might be the most important player in that sort of defense box. Will have to rush him, and which they've been very good at this year. I think they're one of the top 5 teams in pass rushing this year. And like to force Mahomes to either run it himself or go to the outside a bit and throw from a more awkward position. So I think there's a whole group of Tampa Bay defenders who are going to be important, but I think Jason Pierre-Paul might be the sort of cornerstone of that.
Yeah, Tampa Bay is also a good defensive team too. I mean, they've had some clutch moments so far in this postseason when it comes to defense and holding their opposing teams to getting a stop, I should say. So yeah, definitely a player to look out for. For me, I'm gonna go for another wide receiver and go with Chris Godwin for Tampa Bay. Um, and he's definitely another offensive weapon to look out for, as I've said, as he had 110 reception yards or receiving yards, sorry, against Green Bay in the NFC Championship game 2 weeks ago. And he's already had a successful postseason so far, having 223 receiving yards. And like Tyreek Hill, I expect him to have a big game.
Yeah, definitely. Tampa Bay definitely has a lot of offensive weapons. You mentioned Gronkowski as well, Antonio Brown, Chris Godwin. Like that team could be very, very good. Leonard Fournette as well. So the better offensive teams in the league, maybe, and everyone's firing. So definitely going to be an interesting game on the offensive front.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously, the offense is the big story we always talk about. But I mean, as I've said, there's obviously more to that with seeing how Tampa Bay stops Patrick Mahomes and how Kansas City will stop Tom Brady. But yeah, or sorry, we'll see what happens though. Um, but I guess with that, without further ado, we should go to our final prediction and predict the final of this game. I guess I'll start with you, Ben. Who wins Super Bowl 55?
Yeah, at the start of these playoffs, we made a prediction video. I actually had the Chiefs and the Bucks in the final, but I did pick the Chiefs. However, I'm going to change that, and I will be going for, or not going for, but predicting that the Bucks will be winning this game. I think Tom Brady has a chance here to maybe call himself the GOAT of all North American sports ever, right? Like that's the kind of level we're at right now. I think he has 6 rings. This could be his 7th. Michael Jordan only had 6. Well, not only, but like he had 6 rings. So I think if you're looking at the most dominant athletes of all time, I think Tom Brady has a chance to maybe put himself in that spot tomorrow night. So he also often rises to the occasion in moments of pressure, and there's a ton of pressure on him in this game, of course, playing at home, playing against arguably the best quarterback in the league, Patrick Mahomes, and he's also the underdog, I think it's probably fair to say, in this game. But I think he thrives on pressure, and I think he'll win his 7th Super Bowl ring.
Yeah, I mean, definitely a lot of good points there. I mean, obviously you can't count out can't count out Tom Brady as we've seen him play well in the past in his past 6 Super Bowl wins, of course. But um, it's definitely tough to pick this game. I think obviously we've talked about it being one of the most anticipated Super Bowl games in a while. But I think for me, I'm gonna say the Chiefs win this Super Bowl, and I'm actually gonna predict a score of 34-27, a pretty high scoring game. I'm predicting. As I've said, I think both offenses are going to be out in full force, and of course, I think Mahomes and Brady will both have big games for their teams. Um, I think in the end, I think now it's time for Mahomes to take the torch away from Brady, and as we've seen from Mahomes so far in his young career, especially in last year's Super Bowl, coming in clutch against the 49ers. I think with all that in mind, I think Kansas City will get the job done. Um, and as I've said, yeah, I think Mahomes will have a big game, and I think potentially he'll win his second MVP already in his very young career.
Yeah, definitely. There's definitely some elements I think in this sort of narrative of passing on the torch, if you will, right? Like, um, there was a story in the Athletic I think this week where it's being reported that Tom Brady wants to play past 50. So it's been kind of a joke. Will he play past 50? But it sounds like he actually wants to do it. So I think there's still time for Patrick Mahomes to seal himself as the GOAT and win another 5, 6 Super Bowl rings potentially. But I think if he might need to win this game if he ever wants to catch up to Tom Brady in terms of Super Bowl rings, I think. Um, but obviously, only time will tell with that one.
Yeah, and I think obviously we've talked about the Chiefs potentially becoming a dynasty, and obviously we've obviously referred back to the Pats dynasty in the past decade plus. But I think in this game, I think if Kansas City ends up winning this game, I think it's going to be a dynasty to come for Kansas City. And yeah, I just believe that after this game, they'll if they do win, it will it will be a big moment for Mahomes and the team.
Yeah, 100%. I think the time is now for Kansas City. I think we don't know what this team will look like in 5 years, 10 years. Patrick Mahomes will be around in 5 or 10 years. Like we just don't know what the future looks like. So for them, definitely the time is now, and for the Bucks, of course, time is now as well. They signed Tom Brady to win a Super Bowl, and who knows if we get back there next year. So this is the year to win the Super Bowl. I think if you're Tampa Bay as well.
Definitely, and yeah, a lot of, as I said, a lot of storylines to look forward to, and yeah, we'll look forward to all of that. Looking to Super Bowl 55, but before we go here, we have a couple of bets that that we're gonna do. Obviously, every year, uh, people bet on like things like coin toss, anthem length, over under of the total score or over under of the game. Um, and we decided that we're gonna go through 5 bets, and we're gonna predict obviously our own what we think will happen with each of these bets. And yeah, Ben, did you want to start out with with it?
Yeah. So the first one we're gonna do is the coin toss. Um, Maybe not the most important thing during the football game, but could always be a bit of good luck, I guess. And um, when you're looking at the Bucks, I think they're playing at home. Uh, they're playing against. They're gonna need some luck. Let's just put it that way. So I think the Bucks will win this coin toss.
Yeah,
Bit much analyst for coin toss, but we'll see what happens.
yeah. I mean, I think I'm gonna. I think for me, I'm gonna say Kansas City wins this coin toss. I think it's. I mean, I know we're talking about a little thing, but if they do win the coin toss, and obviously if their first drive's a touchdown, and then they go on an offensive uh, game after that, like having scored 17 points as we've talked about in their first matchup this year. But yeah, if I think I'm going to predict Kansas City wins the coin toss. I guess now the next one is who will be leading at halftime. Who do you think will have the lead?
All this talk about coin tosses reminds me of the start of Off the Sidelines. We had nothing to talk about. um, anyway, going to have leading at halftime. I think the Chiefs will be winning at halftime. I think they'll be coming out of the gates a bit faster than Brady will, and kind of just the Tampa Bay might just sort of settle into this game a bit more. So I think the Chiefs will be leading at halftime.
Actually, for me, I'm going to say Tampa Bay leads at halftime just because I want to see another comeback by Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Um, I mean, I think in last year's Super Bowl, I think San Francisco was up by as many as 10 points. So, just for the sake of that, and us being accustomed to him coming back in big moments, I think, and also I think Tampa Bay will come out strong in the first half. So I think that they'll be leading at halftime.
Yeah, I'm expecting more of a big comeback from Tom Brady myself. I think saw a couple years ago in the Super Bowl. Uh, Obviously, if someone's winning at halftime, that has to be a comeback. But we'll have to wait and see with that one as well, I guess. This one's always a fun one. Fergie's not saying the national anthem for this one, so it'll be under 3 minutes. But do you think the national anthem, Matthew, will be over or under 2 minutes for this one?
Well, I would have said over if it was Fergie, but um, I mean, I think, I know, I think if I'm not wrong, last year Demi Lovato performed the Super Bowl, and if I recall, if it was, I don't recall the over and under of that, but um, I think this year, I think it's going to be under 2 minutes. That's my prediction. I don't know much more about like the anthem singer. I mean, if someone can let us know who it is, but I'm gonna just predict the under there.
Let me Google this quickly. But what I will say while I'm searching this up is I saw a video on TikTok where someone was outside the stadium listening to them practice the anthem, and it was going around 2 minutes 30. So I'm going to go for over 2 minutes, purely based off one TikTok video, which may or may not even be true. But I'm going to use that just to contradict yours, I think, partly. I found the answer. Singing the anthem is going to be country singer Eric Church and R&B artist Jasmine Sullivan. So don't know much about them, but country songs can often be kind of slow, so it's maybe another bit of justification for my pick as well.
Well, okay, so far I guess we're opposite on all three bets. We got two more to go here. Um, who would you? I mean, our next one is the Gatorade color for the winning team. Who would you say? What color would you say uh, the Gatorade will be?
Well, I'm a big fan of the blue Gatorade personally, um, and of course that means the best athlete of all time. Not really, but Tom Brady must like blue Gatorade too if it's the best one. So I'm gonna go for the goat of Gatorade colors. I'm gonna go for blue if assuming the Tampa Bay wins, of course.
I I'm I think for me, I'm gonna say red. I think it's just going off of the team's colors. I think I'm gonna go with red. I think last year in Kansas City Super Bowl win, I think it was red if I'm not wrong. So I think even depending on if Kansas City or Tampa Bay wins, I still think it's gonna be red for either team. Um, and I guess now our final one is the over under of the game. So far, it's set at 56 total points. I mean, obviously, that could probably change, but right now it's at 56. So, yeah, would you say the total score is going to be over or under 56?
I'm gonna say under. I think these are two very good offensive teams, both capable of scoring 28 plus points or whatever. So definitely isn't out of the question to go over 56, but I think defense might play a big factor in this one. Um, so I'm gonna go for just under, maybe around like 45 to 50.
Well, my final score prediction is over 56, so I'm gonna go with the over here. As we've already talked about, I think the offense for both teams is gonna score a lot of points, and it will be definitely a high scoring game, I predict. So I'm gonna say the over there.
So I think we were different on all five predictions. So that could definitely be interesting when we film On The Sidelines 24. I want to say is the next one. So when we do that, we'll definitely look back at these and crown our inaugural Super Bowl random prediction champion.
Yeah, and yeah, as you said, in our next OTS episode, we'll definitely recap this big game coming up tomorrow night. Um, and yeah, obviously, exciting moment of the year for even just besides football fans in general, and especially with this year's Super Bowl being one of the more anticipated ones. But yeah, um, a lot of exciting things to look forward to. Um, I guess anything you want to say before we go?
Just that I'm slightly jealous of your pick for the red Gatorade. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna change my prediction. But once I heard you mention the team colors, I was like, of course it's gonna be red.
Well, I mean, you never know. I mean, it's anything can happen in this situation. But yeah, I just just based off team colors. But yeah, well, obviously anything can happen. And yeah, a lot of things to look forward to, as I've said. But I guess if that's all for this episode, thank you guys for watching our Super Bowl 55 preview video. Obviously, don't forget to tune into the big game tomorrow night. And yeah, with that, without further ado, my name is Matthew Limberti,
My name is Benedict Rhodes.
and thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.